Okay. What did we learn on Saturday, Steve? You
I
fire.
learned that I learned that I can't afford to buy food in the stadium.
You are fired up about this. This was so. We walk into Gate
It
F.
is $13.75 for a slice of pepperoni pizza. One single slice is
Oh,
$13.75.
there's a 5% upcharge now, bud.
I'm just saying. Like I understand that that's how it works at stadiums, right? And I don't know. I guess I haven't been to another enough other places to buy it other than concerts and beer concerts and stuff. But there's a place where it does feel unseemly, and I think we can see it from here.
Yeah, I think this is a good opener to how I feel about some things I saw and experienced on Saturday.
Okay.
I think that's a good way to put it. So,
What did you see?
uh,
I'm grumbling about food prices.
you
I mean, I understand, but go ahead. So now I've opened your door. Go
no,
ahead.
okay. So I think game day presentation wise, we can't do this the traditional Darian and Steve style because Steve went into the game to this time, which I'm very proud of him. If you're counting
No,
at
you're not
home,
going to be scoreboard splaining to
yeah,
me. We can actually share
yeah.
some experience. Yeah, yeah.
I think that's good. Game day presentation wise, there were actually, even though the blog post ended up being 2,000 some words, there wasn't that much different new this season in a lot of ways. But what I did feel like was maybe more intensity in the number of ads, and it just intensity and subtle changes that just kind of remind you that things are going in that certain direction to what you're alluding to food prices. I think overall, I think the game day experience at Beaver Stadium relative that felt about the same as it did last year, more or less. Um, but there's a couple things I want to dive in on. So let's spin the wheel, if you will. But I think the first and foremost to talk about was the construction experience that I gathered. So as I mentioned, we walked in, we met you by gate F, and I think you noticed them too. There were like stairs that kind of looked a little sketchy, but they could take you straight up to the top of the stadium
Mhm.
now. And I think that's a good improvement. Then at halftime, I went up and explored the west area. Um, and I did notice even before the game that the west sideline itself, that area is much wider. Like it feels much wider, but the actual walkways themselves are not, and they might even actually be even smaller right now because of the construction and the footprint that they have there. And I think that's an important takeaway because I know that was something that was being talked about prior to the season. Once I got up to the actual area, I'm going to warn you, it does not smell good up there, because that is those porta potties all sit and bake in the sun all day. And that would be one of the biggest takeaways I noticed from the construction renovation process. That, of course, is no one's fault or a lot of people's fault. I don't depends on how you look at that. And there's not really much you can do about it. But all things considered, I think that just a fair warning if you're going up there. I was pleasantly surprised to see food up there. There were a lot of options, food wise. A lot of grab and goes, and it felt like even in the lower concourse of the stadium, I felt like there were maybe a few more of them this season. I could be wrong there, but anecdotally felt like that. Um, that was my biggest takeaway. I think the other thing that was interesting that I did not that kind of popped out of nowhere on Saturday was the beer rail that a lot of the media members were talking about. That which is a rail along the front row of the second deck. Um, but I didn't hear anything about tickets for those. I didn't see anything about tickets for those. And for the most part, those looked empty to me, and I think that was interesting.
The top of the second deck or the underneath the overhang,
The bottom of the second deck,
right?
right
Yeah,
at
they were
the
like on either side of they were
yeah,
on either side of the new broadcast booths,
yes,
basically.
yes,
Yeah, I saw people in the seats there. I just figured they were donors, right? Like
yeah,
people who would have had a decent seat up there, whatever else. And the place underneath, when if you walk by those little seating areas for like 18 people at a time, those are going to be nice, right? Those they're gonna. make some money on those, and then the underside of the west side, the underside of the west side, where it's all construction now. I mean, that's going to be like, I assume, like a club place where people are going to go back into there when they have those stuff. But the people that have the money to spend on those things, and the companies that do those are going to be nice, upgradable places that are going to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So those you can see that really coming together, and then the permanent steps on the west side that are there, you can see that, and those were nice and worked because we came down and went out those steps, right? And when I came in on the other side, I came in B and walked all the way around to come around to F to see you, so I got to see everything underneath. And then when I left you, I went up and walked past the infill temporary stuff between the student section, between the east and the student section, right? Which I guess I'd be hard pressed to believe that doesn't stick around even after they're done. I mean, I don't know what the real plan is, but I just don't see them giving away money if people are going to want to buy tickets there.
The biggest thing that I was wondering with that is the economics of that, because they're right there on the east and west side, and I didn't go over to the east side at that level, but on the west side there was a food place at the top of those steps there, more or less, where those bleachers are just would be if they were on that side. That was not there anymore. And so I wonder what the economics there of like the seat versus the food and how much money they're making. Probably the seat is more valuable per person.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they keep. And I, again, haven't dug into the drawings like you did, whether what's going to be there when they're done. But it feels like that might have been like, oh, hey, we could put some portables here, some temporary, and if people are going to buy them, you know.
The other thing I'm interested in with those in particular is like, do you only have those for the whiteout, and do you only have those for the college football playoff? Like, how long I don't know how long they take to build and like get approved, but like, do you like slap them in that way and kind of have them ebb and flow based on supply and demand, if you will?
You could have something in your back pocket. And I think the other thing that struck me on the west side is it's lower now, right?
Yeah.
Like all those temporary seats are better than the seats those people had before.
Yes.
Like I don't know about our couple's name from York, but Bill and Linda didn't have to hike up as far as they used to, you know, and those looked like good seats. So if that's temporary, you would think permanent's going to be even better. So kudos to them for that.
Yeah. No, and I think that was noticeable, and that was interesting, and it was weird to walk into the stadium because like you look from our vantage point, you look over at the east sideline and it's normal, and you look back over the west sideline and it is not normal. I think that was the biggest change to the actual going in and enjoying the game experience that way. I think from my perspective, though, there are two things that I kind of want to harp on, pick on, discuss, talk about.
So you were nice so far.
Yeah, no, and I think this kind of goes back to like it is what it is capitalism approach of damn you pet capitalism type situation. The first was, well, one of them more so. The first was the scoreboard situation. The font got better this year. Like that was a big gripe for a lot of people this last season, was like you couldn't read the scoreboard. They improved that, but if you looked, and this is more hypercritical than anything else. There were about 900 different fonts up there. Like, can we just pick one, maybe two fonts?
There's just a lot going on there, right? Like that's the challenge, right? There's just a lot going on there, you know, and a lot that was going on that nobody was paying attention to. Like that whole crowd stats thing that's sponsored by, I forget who sponsored it, right? But it's crowd stats, right? And it was yards and penalties, right? To show that the number of yards that the fans have made noise in. It said 5-1 for the whole part of the first quarter, and it was on the screen, and there was no fan interaction, like none. So it was there as a placeholder in case it happened, with a stat that wasn't right. Like, I get it, and we know what's going to happen. It's going to be better by the second or third game. But dang, like you only play 7 games, and they're the biggest show in the state in terms of every one of those events is the biggest sporting event in the state, bigger than anything that happens in Philly or Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's biggest sporting event ever was Penn State Pitt with 60,000 people. This has 30,000 more people than that. Could we at least just be ready for the home opener? Like I get it. I understand the challenges. Student employees, maybe we're not ready, but it's $100+ million entity. Go ahead and be ready for the stadium and season in the stadium.
So here, and this is why I did the article this week, and the last 2 years have done the article this week, because this might be the only time that somebody gets to Beaver Stadium all season long, right? Like, and
So
and,
true.
and it should be a clean and polished experience. And to your point, with the stats and the different fonts and all of these things going on, it's like, for the aside from the game and what happens in a play, the most vital information to my game day experience is the score, the down and distance, and the time left in the game. And it's like, have that be clean. Quit trying to be cute with it. And I think that was my one of my biggest frustrations with Saturday. I think the other one, the capitalism one, with Saturday, was, of course, the number of ads. Now, I didn't measure or count, or it might have just been my memory versus, and maybe the brainwashingness of the college football playoff, which had virtually no ads in the game day presentation experience. But the ribbon boards were multiple times on the south end zone, were multiple different levels of ads for three different companies. And the plays were now sponsored by companies. Certain downs were sponsored by companies. All of these things that I understand. But if we're going to have, there are now four ribbon boards on the field, actually five ribbon boards on the field, one above me in the north end zone, two, four, and then so six more, no, four more in the south end zone. Can we get like some, like, how many rushing yards does Nick Singleton have? How many passing yards does Drew Aller have? I think it's a legitimate gripe, because when the Wi-Fi doesn't work the way it does, and you want to be an involved, engaged fan, and I would say 30% of the fans there do want to know those types of things, serve the fan. And I think we get it. I am not going to go out and buy a Bud Light or go buy a trip to Ocean City, Maryland. Of course, I'm recalling these ads, but I also pay attention to these ads because I'm curious who's sponsoring Penn State, because they were on the ribbon board. Make my game day experience better, because I'm coming to the stadium. I'm spending time and money to get to the stadium, and inform me, keep me in the know, keep me in the knowledge about what's happening on the field, not where I should be. There are like 9 different construction partners for Penn State right now.
It's a big project.
Yeah, but and I can't imagine. I cannot imagine the need to go either to West Shore Home, the other construction group, and then go rent my Cleveland Brothers Caterpillar as well, for whatever purpose. Does my point make
Oh yeah.
sense? I'm fired up.
Oh yeah. I think yes, but I don't think you're wrong. I think there could be more strategy in what they do. Right? Like, I know you buy in, you get this, you support us at this level, you get ads on the board, you do whatever. So kudos to the folks who are selling that. You're selling your backside off. That's wonderful. Go ahead and sponsor the Cleveland Brothers pass attack. I don't know. Come up with something so you can make it a yes and.
Yeah.
My stand up comedy thing. Yes, thank you for your money, and we're going to serve the fans this way. For me, it's out of town scores. I know they're there, but that stadium of 106,000 people is a community waiting to rally around something, waiting to cheer and share an experience other than the drum major doing the flip. So how about we share an out of town score or two? Now, they might not have liked the Ohio State score. It might have been greeted with boos, but it would have been greeted with boos by 70,000 people who were sharing and supporting the same experience, which makes them feel good about doing it. For me, out of town scores aren't about informing people, because if you really want to know, you can get it. It's tribal. It's us and them, right? And I think the thing they did well about 10 years ago when they announced the attendance. This is the largest crowd in college football today, or this is the largest crowd east of the Mississippi, or this is the whatever. And it's tough if Michigan and Tennessee are playing for that to happen, and Ohio State. But still, like, there's ways to make it seem really cool and build community inside that stadium. And I feel like they're just making sure that it's monetized and not worrying about they're willing about it's monetized and supporting the brand. They're not like activating the brand in ways that they could that would really make people feel part of it more.
Right.
Like, I mean, people are coming no matter what. They're going to turn. It's like Field of Dreams, right? Like people are going to come, turn over the money. They're happy to be there. But to your point earlier about these people whose only visit was this visit, if that's what it could have been better. That's all. It just could be. Maybe magical is not the right word, but it could be closer.
I think it could. I think it could be authentically corporate. I think would be where it could be authentic and it could also drive revenue and be creatively corporate. I guess would be the best way to say that. I think that.
Oh, good. Give me another one then. This is going to lead into that one that I texted you.
I don't remember that one.
The picture from the block party.
What so for anybody that, I think you got to explain.
So for anybody that walks the stadium, right, they have signs about what's happened. The block party schedule events, right, of what's going on. It's the block party opens, live music, team arrival, blue band march, and kickoff, right? And those things are set on this little board, and then taped, worse than the West Shore Homes temporary sign, beside each one is what time. Like the block party opens at 10 a.m. in like, I don't know, 120 font, right? And then the live music is 10 in the hi-fis in like 50 font, right? And the team arrival is 10 a.m. in like itty bitty font. There are 3 kick times that happen for Penn State games, pretty much. Noon, 3:30, and 7:30, right? How about just making one for noon, 3:30, and 7:30 so everything looks clean? Maybe you got to change the name of the band, right? Maybe that one slides in. But have 3 made that don't look like the middle school art project, right? Because it is a multi-million-dollar organization. Make 3 different signs. Oh, it's a noon game? Okay, we use these 3 signs. Boom, they're done for the noon games. 3:30, oh, it's these 3 signs. They're just a little bit different because the times are different, but nothing else changes. Like that kind of stuff. If you're going to charge me what you're going to charge me for tickets and you're going to charge me what you're going to charge me for food, make it polished all the way through. That's all. Like I think that was the thing that was bugging me.
No, I think that's a very fair point. I think obviously it is in some ways college football itself is not it does not share the multi-billion-dollar industry the way the NFL does. But it's not like, to your point, we're the little sisters of the poor here.
No, we're there now. Yeah. We're employing those people who did that before. Yeah. Use the data, use your email systems, use your text systems. If you're going to go in, go all in. Right. Like you are NFL light. You are pretty much the CFC, the college football conference, what college football is in general to the AFC and the NFC. Go ahead and do it. Yeah. Just
no, I think, and then that's big. I think yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I think the biggest other takeaway I want to hit on real quickly here before we move on, and we can discuss West Shore home field at Beaver Stadium at a later point, but I was surprised at how there wasn't that much of it in the stadium, like literally in the stadium. There was, of course, it was like on the field, and then it was on the signs outside of the stadium, but I felt like that was it. Like, and it's a noticeable that was it, right? Like it's a big that was it. But I maybe that's part of the upcoming upgrades and for how demanding that seems to have become, where we now have to put it literally on top of the suites so that the people on the airplane go by and see it. I was kind of surprised that when you walked in, it was not plastered everywhere.
I think I didn't go into the South Tunnel area, right? Because I didn't walk past there, but it's there, like big sign there outside the South Tunnel. It's hanging from the end of the north end zone facing outside. It's 2 entrances. I just feels like, not a salesman, clearly by the number of sponsors we have for the podcast, but West Shore Homes got a deal. Good Lord. For as much public external facing as there is, $50 million is not enough. It's just not. I thought that was the price for your logo on the field and whatever else. They cannot now sell a gate. I mean, like maybe this is just a year temporary thing, and when they retrofit it right and the gates go a little wider out and they do whatever, maybe then you can go back in and sell a gate or something. But the way it's signed now, why would anybody else want to sponsor a gate or an entrance or something else? Because you clearly have their name on everything. And it just feels like, okay, if that was enough, good, you got it, because you're not getting any more. It doesn't feel like.
And I think that's my biggest gripe with it.
And if you're an athletic salesperson, listen to this, or somebody in athletics who knows sales, we would love to understand
what we're missing. Because
right, like I don't understand. Like it feels like there's more out there.
Something. I really do. I feel like, and I reached out to Penn State about this when the like, has the naming agreement changed from a field naming agreement to a stadium naming agreement? Because that's what this feels like. And I think when you look at some of the numbers comparatively to what, obviously very different because it is the NFL, but not that much different when you consider that it's 100,000 some people going there. It is one of the biggest stadiums literally in the world. It is getting used for 7 major events, and now another finding new ways. That's the whole purpose for the next 15 years of what we're trying to do, to find new ways to activate this place. It just feels meh. It feels something
Feels like they left something on the table. Yeah. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
I got one kudos that I think will transition us into the next thing.
Can I hit on one more thing? I have a question for you. Are you annoyed by the LED screen over the tunnel, or should I shut up?
I don't see it, so not as annoyed as you.
Okay.
Tradition-wise, I respect that the young guy remembers. Used to say TCS, and there it is, and whatever. So it feels like a piece of something, but maybe Penn State doesn't have that. So let me try this. It feels like a piece of something should be traditional / holy ground, right?
Okay.
But Penn State doesn't have Howard's Rock that Clemson ran down the hill with before. It doesn't have Play Like a Champion today to touch that Notre Dame does. And I don't know that piece of signage ever was that. So maybe, it feels to me like you think it sort of was that. But I don't think we have a piece of Penn State has a thing that's like that. So I think what we've seen is that everything's for sale.
Yeah, I think that's about where I'm at with it. And then I just pretty soon every row is going to have its own sponsor.
There wasn't anything over the portals. I looked for that. Those were Penn State marks.
Duncan in the south end zone. Like then you're talking about the portals to like when you walk up. To get into
when you walk in, like if you're in the stadium and they're over the headers of when you walk in, like the ones I saw on the east side low were just Penn State logos, unless they're digital and I saw them at the wrong time.
I'm not sure about that, but I know in the student section it's Duncan, like above the like tunnels to get from the lower concourse.
Yep. Okay, then I couldn't see those. Okay.
So, yeah.
No, I don't. If it's your drum, bang it. I understand. Like I don't know that I'm as strongly, but I understand.
Yeah, I just like when are we gonna put a logo on the gate that the lion opens up? Like when we're gonna sell the advertising rights?
Give it time, baby.
And it's
what if Long Fence Company of Northern Virginia would like to sponsor that?
We might know. Do we know a guy that does fences in Northern Virginia?
We don't. I know, but Long Fence Company is pretty popular in Northern Virginia.
Okay.